Tribal Leadership, Leveraging Natural Groups to Build a Thriving Organization, by Dave Logan, John King, and Halee Fischer-Wright. Picture a hospital on life support. It's the mid-1980s, and Griffin Hospital in a small Connecticut town is circling the drain. The buildings? Ancient, literally the oldest in the state. Patient satisfaction? In freefall. The best doctors? Already out the door. When the hospital board surveyed the community and asked people to name a hospital they'd avoid, 32% wrote down just one word: Griffin. The writing was on the wall. Right in the middle of this mess was Patrick Charmel, a soft-spoken young executive who'd started as a 19-year-old intern and climbed the ranks. But when he clashed with a CEO who he believed was driving the hospital off a cliff, things got ugly fast. The CEO, wielding his power like a hammer, fired him. End of story. Right, not quite. What happened next was nothing short of extraordinary. An underground employee newsletter started circulating with a simple message: wear a yellow ribbon, save Griffin, and bring back Pat. Within days, yellow ribbons were everywhere, pinned to scrubs, taped to doors, draped across desks. The people with the least formal power in the building simply refused to accept what had happened. After 3 months of this grassroots rebellion, the board finally stepped in. The CEO resigned, and Patrick Charmel was invited back. The day he returned, over 400 people, staff, volunteers, community leaders, surprised him at the entrance with balloons floating everywhere. It was electric, emotional, tribal. And from that moment on, Griffin Hospital began transforming so dramatically that Fortune magazine would eventually rank it as one of the best places to work in America. This wasn't a miracle. It was the result of an invisible force that shapes every group of people, whether it's a high school basketball team or a Fortune 500 company. Authors Dave Logan, John King, and Halee Fischer-Wright spent a decade studying over 24,000 people to crack the code. They call it tribal leadership. This book reveals that force. It's about the hidden social dynamics that determine whether a group thrives or crashes and burns. By the time we're done here, you won't just understand how to be a better leader, you'll have unlocked the secret to transforming any group you're part of. You'll start seeing the world not as a bunch of individuals bumping into each other, but as what it really is, a tribe of tribes. And you'll learn exactly how to upgrade your own. Ever walk into a room and instantly feel the vibe? Or the complete lack of one? One office is buzzing, people collaborating, laughing, actually getting stuff done. Another place, maybe the DMV or a company past its prime, feels like walking through fog. The air is thick with apathy. You can practically feel good ideas dying on the vine. What's the difference? It's not the people. It's definitely not the inspirational poster on the wall. It's the tribe. The authors start with a simple but powerful insight. Humans don't just form groups. We form tribes. A tribe is roughly 20 to 150 people. Basically, everyone you know well enough that if you bumped into them on the street, you'd stop to chat. Your school? A tribe of tribes. A big company? Same thing. It's our natural state. Birds flock. Fish school. People tribe. Here's the secret the book unlocks. The single biggest factor in a tribe's success is its culture, and every culture operates at one of 5 distinct stages. These stages reveal themselves through language, the words people speak, the stories they tell, the relationships they build. Once you learn to recognize each stage, you can't unhear it. You'll spot it everywhere. The journey through these 5 stages is the story of leadership itself. Stage 1, life sucks. This is rock bottom. Stage 1 is where despairing hostility lives. The language is blunt and brutal. Life sucks. This is the world of street gangs, prison yards, people who feel completely cut off from society. They see the world as fundamentally unfair, violent, and broken. So they band together just to survive, creating their own rules where loyalty to the small group is the only thing that matters. Most organizations don't have Stage 1 cultures. They actively screen these people out. But understanding this stage matters because it's the foundation everything else is built on. Moving out of stage 1 means making the first fundamental leap, believing that life can actually be different, even if it isn't yet. The book shares the story of Frank Jordan, who eventually became mayor of San Francisco. As a kid, he bounced between 8 different homes in 5 years. Many of his childhood friends got sucked into the stage 1 world of violence and crime. What saved him? He stumbled into a boys and girls club. He found a different tribe with a different culture, and it changed his entire trajectory. This is the first lesson of tribal leadership. To help someone move up, you have to connect them to a better tribe. Stage 2, my life sucks. Now we move up a notch. This stage shows up in about 25% of all workplace cultures. Stage 2 sounds subtly different. It's not life sucks, it's my life sucks. This is the land of the apathetic victim. Think of the stereotypical DMV employee or the characters from The Office. People at stage 2 are passively antagonistic. They show up, do the bare minimum, and believe they're powerless to change anything. They see that some people have it good, the bosses, the executives, but they feel stuck, trapped by the system. Their conversations are full of complaints, quiet sarcasm, and resignation. Try bringing a new idea to a stage 2 tribe, and you'll hear, "We tried that before. It didn't work." The book shares a perfect story that captures how stage 2 cultures get created. A manager named Roger worked for a classic stage 3 boss named Todd, the kind of guy who drove a Porsche and thought he was the star of his own movie. One Friday, Roger landed after a business trip to find 5 panicked voicemails. The company's top lawyer wanted to see him immediately about a potential lawsuit. Todd was screaming on the last message. "Where are you?" Roger rushed to the office, exhausted and disheveled. He found his entire office packed into boxes. Todd marched in and coldly said, "They're waiting for you downstairs in legal. Let's go now." As Roger was escorted down the hall like a criminal, his team members watching in fear, he was in complete shock. Then, 15 steps down the hall, Todd stopped, spun around, and shouted, "Ah, gotcha!" He high-fived his assistant. It was all an elaborate, cruel joke. This is exactly how you breed stage 2. When people feel powerless, disrespected, and treated like pawns, they disconnect, they give up, they huddle in little groups, and bond over shared misery. They tape Dilbert cartoons to their cubicle walls because, as creator Scott Adams told the authors, they've come to believe that evil bosses are just part of corporate life, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. A leader who tries motivating a stage 2 tribe with rah-rah speeches or fancy strategic plans will fail every single time. You can't ask them to change the company. You have to change their world first. The key to moving someone from stage 2 to stage 3 is intensely personal. Work with them one-on-one, show them their work actually matters, help them see they have real skills, and build a strong mentoring relationship. You have to help them see a path from "my life sucks" to the next stage, the most common and perhaps most dangerous stage of all. Stage 3, I'm great, and you're not. Welcome to the Wild West. Nearly half of all professionals in the United States operate at stage 3. This is the land of the lone warrior, the personal achiever, the star performer. The language revolves around individual accomplishment. I'm great. And lurking just beneath the surface is the unspoken part, and you're not. People at stage 3 are smart, driven, and competitive. They're doctors, lawyers, top salespeople, star professors. They believe knowledge is power, so they hoard information. They thrive on winning, and for them, winning is deeply personal. Their world is structured like a wheel with spokes, all one-on-one relationships with them at the center. They complain about not having enough time or competent support because they feel like they have to do everything themselves. The book introduces us to Dr. Martin Coyle, a world-class surgeon who's pioneered new procedures and lectured around the globe. By any measure, he's massively successful, yet he feels deeply frustrated. "I'm a victim of a system that is broken," he says. "I get zero support. I'm just another commodity here, a replaceable faceless item." This is the paradox of stage 3. You can be at the absolute top of your game and still feel alone and unsupported. Why? Because the very mindset that drives individual success, the "I'm great" mentality, isolates you. It makes forming true partnerships nearly impossible. To a stage 3 person, a team is often just a star with a supporting cast. This stage is seductive. Our entire education system, from gold stars in kindergarten to graduate degrees, cultivates stage 3 thinking. It rewards the individual with the right answer. But there's a ceiling to what a lone warrior can accomplish. No matter how brilliant you are, you still only have 24 hours in a day. Eventually, the stage 3 person hits a wall. They want to reach the next level but don't know how. The very tools that made them successful are now holding them back. Breaking free from stage 3 requires a profound shift in perspective. It requires an epiphany. The epiphany, the bridge to true leadership. This is the turning point. The book explains that every true tribal leader they studied went through a powerful awakening, an epiphany that changed everything. The story of Bob Tobias, a tough-as-nails union lawyer, shows exactly how it happens. In the 1970s, Tobias was the definition of stage 3. His motto was to, quote, "kick the S out of them so that they never want to see you again." He famously won a $533 million lawsuit against President Richard Nixon. It was an ego hit of the highest order, he told the authors. He loved being the Lone Ranger who rode into town, slayed the dragon, and rode off to applause. In 1983, he was elected president of his union. On his first day, a reporter called with a simple question: "Now that you've been elected, what are you going to do?" Tobias was stumped. "I knew what I wanted others to not do, mistreat our members, but what was I going to do?" That was a slap in the face. I couldn't answer the question. That one question triggered his epiphany. It unfolded in stages. First, he realized his impact was far less than he thought. He'd won countless battles, but had he actually improved the day-to-day lives of the people he represented? The answer was no. It was an institutional victory, but nothing changed in people's daily lives. Second, he saw that the I system couldn't fix the problem. Trying to solve it with more hard work and more personal victories would just be more of the same. He had to abandon the Lone Ranger mentality entirely. As former Amgen CEO Gordon Binder puts it, when people operate in the I system, they can't have a legacy. When they operate in the we system, they can have an individual legacy. Finally, he asked the real question: what am I really trying to accomplish? The answer wasn't about winning fights. It was about creating a workplace built on dignity and respect for everyone. This epiphany marks the death of the lone warrior and the birth of the tribal leader. It's the moment you realize true power doesn't come from being the smartest person in the room. It comes from making everyone in the room smarter. It's the shift from "I'm great" to the next, most powerful stage. Stage 4. We're great. When enough people in a tribe have this epiphany, the culture transforms. It enters stage 4, the zone of true tribal leadership. The language shifts from I to we. The theme becomes "we're great." And because a stage 4 tribe often defines itself against an opponent, the unspoken part is, and they're not. At stage 4, the focus is on the team, shared values, and common purpose. Information flows freely. People hold each other accountable. The mood is tribal pride. A "we're great" tribe is a force to be reckoned with. For the USC football team, they might be UCLA. For early Apple, they was Microsoft. The bigger the opponent, the stronger the tribe. This is the culture Patrick Charmel and his team built at Griffin Hospital. They didn't just announce a new vision. They brought employees together in retreats and asked them what a great hospital experience would look like. They built full-scale mock-ups of the new maternity ward in a warehouse and let staff give hundreds of suggestions. They turned strategy into everyone's problem, and in doing so, built a tribe where everyone felt like an owner. The book gives us another incredible example. IDEO, the world-famous design firm that created the first Apple mouse, and the Palm V founder David Kelly, built the company as a direct reaction to the dehumanizing Stage 3 cultures he saw in big corporations. At IDEO, culture is everything. Their physical space is designed for collaboration, not executive corner offices. Their hiring process focuses on finding people who fit the tribe. They're obsessed with building a Stage 4 culture because they know that's where breakthrough innovation happens. So how do you build a Stage 4 tribe? It's not about team-building exercises or motivational posters. It's about changing the very structure of how people relate to one another. The key, the authors reveal, is moving from dyads to triads. A dyad is a two-person relationship, the building block of Stage 3. A tribal leader's most important job is building triads. A triad is a three-person relationship where your job is to create and strengthen the bond between the other two people. Think of Darla Longo, a top executive at a commercial real estate firm. At her annual party, she doesn't work the room promoting herself. She acts as a master matchmaker, introducing two people and explaining why they should know each other based on shared values and goals. Once she moves on, those two people don't just talk business. They talk about Darla and the amazing tribe she's built. By building triads, she builds the tribe, and the tribe recognizes her as its leader. This is the engine of Stage 4 networking. Stage 5. Life is great. Is there anything beyond we're great? For a long time, the authors thought Stage 4 was the peak. Then they walked into Amgen, the biotechnology giant, in the 1990s. They expected to find classic Stage 4 culture, tribal pride, focused on beating competitors. But when they asked people who their competition was, they got strange answers. We're in competition with cancer, one person said. Another mentioned inflammatory disease or untimely death. They weren't talking about other companies. Their competitor was human suffering itself. The mood wasn't tribal pride. It was something quieter, more profound, a sense of innocent wonderment. This was Stage 5, a rare and magical culture where the language is simply, life is great. Stage 5 happens when a tribe's ambition is no longer about beating a rival, but about making history. Their focus is on pure, limitless potential. This is the culture of a team producing world-changing innovation, winning Olympic gold, or starting a global movement. The book tells the story of the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team. Captain Mike Eruzione insists their victory over the seemingly invincible Soviet team wasn't a miracle. It was the result of a fiercely bonded Stage 4 tribe. We're great, and our coach Herb Brooks is not. That, in the biggest game of their lives, was given a chance to make history. In that moment, they transcended their rivalry and leaped into Stage 5. They weren't just playing to win, they were playing for what was possible. A Stage 5 tribe competes with what's possible, not with another tribe. Their values become resonant values. They can partner with anyone, from any tribe, committed to making a global impact. These moments are often fleeting. After a burst of history-making activity, the tribe usually settles back into stable Stage 4. But for that moment, they show us the absolute peak of human collaboration. The journey from an individual thinking, my life sucks, to a tribe making history by proclaiming life is great, is the ultimate path of leadership. It's not about commanding and controlling, it's about listening, connecting, and upgrading the culture one conversation at a time. It's about building the tribe and letting the tribe build you into the leader it needs. What makes tribal leadership so powerful is that it names something we've all intuitively felt but couldn't quite describe. It pulls back the curtain on the invisible dynamics governing our success and failures in groups. The book's greatest lesson is humbling. You're not as in control as you think. Your success, happiness, and impact are tied to the tribe you're part of. The tribe's culture will either lift you up or pull you down. The idea that leadership fundamentally means upgrading your tribe's culture is a radical departure from the traditional hero CEO model. It's not about being the smartest person with the best ideas. It's about creating an environment where everyone's best ideas can flourish. It's shifting from being the star player to being the person who builds the championship team. And the path forward isn't some grand, complicated strategy. It's rooted in simple, human actions. So if this book has sparked something in you, here are a few things you can start doing today. First, for the next week, just listen. Don't try to change anyone or anything. Simply pay attention to the language people use around you. Listen for the pronouns. Is it all I, me, and my? That's the sound of stage 3. Hearing lots of complaining and victim language? That's stage 2. Just by identifying your tribe's current stage, you've taken the first and most important step. Second, build one triad. Think of 2 people in your life, friends, classmates, colleagues, who should know each other but don't. Make an introduction, but don't just connect them and walk away. Tell each of them why you think they'd benefit from knowing the other based on shared values or a common goal. Your job isn't to be the center of the relationship, but to be the architect of it. Finally, start asking, in service of what? Whatever project you're working on, whatever team you're part of, ask that question. Why are we really doing this? Keep asking until you get past surface-level answers and arrive at something that feels like a noble cause, something that excites not just you, but everyone. That was a summary of Tribal Leadership by Dave Logan, John King, and Halee Fischer-Wright. We've touched on the core ideas today, but I'll be honest, a summary is like looking at a photograph of a beautiful landscape. It can show you the scenery, but it can't make you feel the warmth of the sun or the breeze. The real magic of this book happens when you read it yourself. It's in the quiet moments, when a particular story or simple phrase hits you unexpectedly. This summary is designed to help you decide if this book is worth your time. If anything we've talked about today has resonated with you, I truly hope you'll pick up a copy. Reading it isn't just learning. It's an experience that can genuinely change how you see the world and your place in it. A link to the book is in the description. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please hit that like button and subscribe. We explore a new, life-changing book from the Billionaire's Bookshelf in every episode, and I'd be honored to have you join our tribe. Let's keep growing together.